Maegor the Cruel is the most vilified character in Westeros because of his actions throughout his life. But if you look past the Citadel propaganda, you'll see that Maegor the Cruel is actually Maegor the Cool.
Before we even start, everybody needs to dial up, okay? Beep, 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 beep. Dial up your hypocrisy detectors, all right? Because we're going to do a thought experiment with each one of these things. Think about this. If Aegon the Conqueror, Aegon the First, Maegor's father, committed the exact same quote-unquote crime, would he have been received in the same way? Would he have been judged to the same extent and in the same light that Maegor is judged in? Obviously, we argue that he wouldn't be, and Maegor is treated unfairly with basically all of these situations, but we're going to remind you guys throughout. But just keep that in mind as we go. Maegor the Cruel is, in fact, Maegor the Cool.
Now let's just remember, to put this into context, that Maegor had one of the weakest, most feckless older brothers, Aenys, in front of him the whole time. So one of the earliest presumed bad things Maegor did was killing a cat. Is this a bad thing? His early killings involved killing a cat, a horse, and then later on he killed like a bunch of traitors. But Gator, what is really evil about what he's doing?
Okay, I'll go through these one by one because I feel very passionately about each and every one of these. First of all, the cat thing. He never killed the cat. That is Maester propaganda, looking back, trying to paint this guy as much of a psychopath as possible. I think the story was he even killed it at like 3 years old or whatever. That's just the typical Freudian, oh, he must be a serial killer in the making because he killed a little animal, little innocent animal. He didn't do it, okay? And if he did, it was an accident because this dude is strong as shit, all right? He's whipping the sword around. He got it for the first time. Every little boy wants to play with a sword, right? And it's an extension of his phallus, and it's sharper than hell. He's 3 years old.
Also, I think there's a difference between killing a cat and murdering a cat. If you killed the cat, the cat might have been asking.
It might have been asking for it. I'm not a cat fan whatsoever. They're in it for themselves.
Nope.
They're not a part of your family. A cat is a pet. A dog is a member of your family. Remember that, guys. All right.
Well, speaking of deadly animals, a horse. I mean, that is one of the most horrific things to be in front of you, and it's trying to kill you. Dude, kill the horse. If that thing is bucking at all.
The horse kicked him. The horse
Killed.
kicked him. Have you seen, everybody's seen videos of horses kicking people. They get knocked out right away, if not killed. You know, plus, this kid, Maegor, is 8 years old. Okay, he's 8 years old, and he struck down a horse. Okay, that is extremely impressive. He tanked a hit from a horse and then killed the horse, okay? And then what happens? A small boy, the stable boy who was tending to this horse, runs after, like, what are you doing, my beautiful horse? Stop, it's violent, it's terrible. And then Maegor slashes him in the face. Think about what happens in real life when somebody's pet dog bites somebody. What happens? The dog gets put down, okay, check, and then the owners get punished. Check.
Yeah, true.
What's wrong with that?
And if anything, Maegor is probably trying to save this stable boy who's most likely been kicked too many times by the horse himself.
Correct.
It was like, oh, you can't do that to my beautiful horse. Literally, Mr. Hands running back over to his
Hands
horse,
in the
right?
making,
And
yes. If you want to talk about like an action as a child that's predicting the future of life, all right, killing a cat, serial killer, maybe. Tending to a horse, stable boy.
Unhealthy relationship with your
horse.
horse.
Look up Kenneth Pinion, everybody.
But I'm sure Maegor was trying to save this kid from potentially getting killed by the horse as well. It's like when you're a lifeguard and someone's drowning, what you do sometimes is you like smack them in the face or you punch them in the face to kind of recalibrate them. It's like, hey, knock it off. Like, I'm going to save you, but you're going to drown me if you try to fight me or try to, like, you know, flail around. So maybe that's what he had to do. He just had to slice him in the face and, like, get the hell away, you dumb animal.
Or you just saw red. Like, if I get kicked in the face by a horse,
True.
I'll see red. And if somebody comes over and tries to stop me from doing this thing to this, like, punish the animal or whatever, this wild animal, yeah, I'm probably going to strike this guy in, like, a fit of rage. It's momentary. It goes away. But we're only human, and Maegor is the same. Remember, if Aegon the Conqueror did this, if you just heard this about Aegon the Conqueror's childhood, knowing who he was as an adult, would you judge him for it? Absolutely not.
Totally agree. And the way Maegor deals with traitors later on when Aenys is king, I don't think that's all that bad. I think some people will be like, oh, why do you throw them all through the moon door and give other people rope? He just kills them all. It's like, well, listen, if this was Aegon, remember the experiment we talked about earlier, if this was Aegon, would it be badass? Or
would it be ass bad? Badass or ass bad? Which one, guys? All right, let us know in the comments. In the situation like you're talking about, specifically with the Arryn Rebellion, one faction of the Arryns rebelled against the other, right? The anti-Aenys or Aenys Targaryen faction. Maegor was dispatched to deal with it. It doesn't matter. Like, when he gets there, the traitors kind of turn on their leader, right? The Arryn that was trying to usurp the proper Arryn. And they say, no, we had nothing to do with this. We don't like him. We never liked him at all in the first place. Like, trust us. We were just going along with it because we had to. We were just following orders. It's like, that's bullshit. It's like a group breaking in someone's house in the middle of the night and killing the family's kids. Then when the dad shows up with like a shotgun or whatever, the crew like quickly kills their leader, quote unquote, and expects mercy from the dad. It's like, we didn't try. We were just following orders. Do you think that
Right.
dad shouldn't take some kind of vengeful action against the people that just murdered his kids? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Maegor the Cool.
Yeah, I think we might do a total breakdown on this rebellion as well, because there's just a lot of things to talk about here.
Yeah.
Put into context, like I was saying earlier about Aenys being so feckless, being so weak, Maegor being like, hey, I should be the king. I should be leading. Look how much better I am. I'm basically doing what my dad would be doing if he was alive today. At the same time, Maegor is dealing with so much stress. One, Aenys, for whatever reason, is able to pop kids out like there's no tomorrow, while Maegor, even though he's pounding his high tower wife, he is not producing any heir. And at the same time, he was able to claim a dragon for the longest time. Gator, do you think it's cope, or do you think he actually called his shot when he's like, no, I want Balerion. No, I don't want any of these other dragons. I want my dad's dragon. I'm just going to wait.
I think that the fact that we're hearing this from the Maesters, right, who are absolutely like they're Aegon the Conqueror pilled and they're Aenys pilled, right, against Maegor. If even they are willing to say that this guy wouldn't try to claim another dragon because he only saw Balerion as like worthy of his command, I believe that 100%. I don't think it's cope. If it was somebody else, if it was somebody they're friendly with and they said it, I think that's cope. But if it's somebody that they hate, no, there's no reason to think otherwise. I think, dude, it's completely true. He saw Balerion, he said, that thing's going to be mine one day.
Also, another thing that a lot of people poo-poo Maegor on, they're like, how could he ever do this? This is so unheard of.
Here we go.
He's going to take another wife? It's like, dude, listen. I understand the Faith of the Seven, which we are fully behind here on this channel.
Completely.
We love the Faith of the Seven. But his number one job is to produce an heir. What is more important? Sticking to the morals that are not going to hurt anybody if he takes another wife, right? The morals of this religion, that it's not going to impact majorly anywhere else, or the stability of the realm if he doesn't produce an heir. Which one? Which one is more important? And which one do you try to put first? Maegor was trying to create stability for the realm, but instead, people are like, no, he's just selfish. He just wants women. It's like, dude, he can have any woman he wants. He just wants an heir. That's all he wants. He doesn't even care. Like, if someone came up to him, he was like, hey, yo, this dude can produce you an heir. Guess what? I think Maegor's clapping those cheeks before you even finish the sentence.
Absolutely he is. Think about it like this, too. It's not like he's going around like Robert Baratheon or whatever, blessed be his name, just clapping cheeks and popping out kids like no tomorrow, right? He's not doing that. He's actually willing to go the distance and marry each of these women before he ever has sex with them. He's like trying to hold this like pious position, right? It's like, yeah, listen, guys, I understand, okay? But my ultimate goal is to produce an heir and shore up my family, right? Like, I'm a family man. I care about, I'm not saying that I'm going to be king necessarily, not at this point, but if I am, I got to make sure I have an heir, because what else is going to happen? I'm going to have like an Aenys 2.0 like roll in here.
Right.
I don't think so. I'm going to sow my high T seed and keep my line of succession going and rule this kingdom with an iron fist. But that fist can also open up and expose the soft, feathery hands of, the merciful Maegor, which, listen, it happens, okay? It does happen. He's completely misunderstood. He's polygamous by necessity only. And by the way, he's encouraged and allowed to do it by his Valyrian twink culture that he grew and surpassed by miles.
Yeah, what is worse? What he's doing right now, or what Aegon IV did, where he had all these bastards and legitimized him on his deathbed? Gator, which one do you think is worse in the eyes of not only the Seven, but potentially the realm?
Aegon IV is definitely worse, because he's kind of like a little little shitster, getting some kind of sick thrill and satisfaction out of it, just like flicking off the gods, versus in this situation, I definitely think it's a scenario where these gods look down. It's like, every man's a sinner, but we're willing to take you back in,
So after the death of his brother, Maegor then takes the throne, the Iron Throne. He usurps or surpasses, circumvents Aegon the Uncrowned's claim. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is so bad. How can you do this? This is not the right of succession. He needs to follow the rules. Gator, ready for the test again?
Yep, sir.
Aegon versus Maegor. Who wins? Would this be based? Would this be awesome? Would this be cool if Aegon did it? Oh, it would be? Okay.
Right.
Okay,
No,
never
right.
mind.
That's 100% true. Maegor, like, imagine, just take Maegor out and put Aegon the Conqueror in this situation for a second, okay? Just imagine anybody you want, anybody you respect in this situation. Your brother dies, okay? Your weak, pathetic, probably vegan brother who's never tasted animal meat, right? He's getting like that little tiny, no bioavailability protein at most, right? That's probably why he died. And his son, who is undoubtedly just as weak, or at least if maybe he's a little bit better, but as soon as
Please,
his
father, let me marry my sister, please. He's like, oh, okay.
unbelievable.
If it makes you happy.
Yeah, see, at least Maegor's marrying outside of the family, dude. Super based, right?
Yeah.
He looks to this and thinks, what is the future of the realm going to be if this kid comes to rule? Like, sure, I could be his hand, but I'm not the king. Like, I'm not the picture. I'm not the image of the kingdom. I'm not going to be able to keep reins on all 7 kingdoms, just like Aenys wasn't able to keep a strong grip on these guys. Not necessarily with cruelty, but you still need to be able to maintain rule. Otherwise, what's the point? What was the point of centralizing the 7 kingdoms if you aren't going to actually hold them in solidarity with each other? He had to take the throne. He absolutely had to. I don't see a way. I don't see a way out. How could he not have? He couldn't live with himself. If any of us were in this situation, we would have done it.
Yeah, I would love to do a what if, potentially, of what if Aegon the Uncrowned actually became king instead of Maegor? Because you really think in all this political turmoil where everyone is potentially, just not that long ago, we had 3 rebellions within Westeros. Dorne is not even part of the 7 kingdoms with, that the Targaryens rule at that point. You have Dorne, you have all these rebellions popping up, you have the Faith Militant. You really think Aegon the Uncrowned is going to be able to stabilize the realm?
Dorne would probably take King's Landing if Aegon the Uncrowned took the throne.
Dude, this reminds me of just one of those cringe teachers coming in when all the children are screaming, crying, drawing on the walls. And they're like, okay, I just really want to hear people out. How are we feeling? Don't spank the kids. How do you feel? It's like, no, you need a man to say, everyone, get the fuck out of here. Everyone sit down. You lay down right now. Everyone's going in timeout. Maegor's just putting people on timeout. And the only way he could do that is by taking the throne. And it's right by conquest. You ever heard of it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Aegon, guy 2 kings ago, literally did it. So it wasn't
Yes.
like we had thousands of years of precedents where it's like, oh, yeah, we never do this. We never have a brother come in and usurp. He's not even jumping the line of succession all that much, too. It's not like he's the random uncle, like Oris Baratheon or something, coming in being like, oh, I'm actually the brother of Aegon. Oh, I should have it.
No, it's not like that at all. He's 1 degree separated, okay? He did a great job as hand. He paid his debts, by the way, when he had that marriage that no one was really happy with. Even Aenys wasn't that happy with it, right? And he took his exile. He had the choice. He's like, do you want exile or do you want to forfeit this marriage? He's like, I'll take the fucking exile, all right? And then Aenys is like, all right, fine, take the exile, even though you come out looking like the alpha here. Just please don't take Blackfire with you, okay? Just please leave me with Blackfire. That's just be so bad for my image. And Maegor's like, what's that? I can't fucking hear you. I'm already halfway over to Pentos on Balerion. Thanks for Blackfire, by the way. So, yeah, dude, super alpha. See, that's Maegor the Cool. And by the way, when he takes the throne and he goes back to the Red Keep, because obviously he already took it, all right, but there's going to be some people who are fighting that before it's really, really in stone. What does Maegor do? He gets out on the battlefield with a trial of the 7 and claims the throne, like with his own blade, with his own hands, right? 7 versus 7. Dude, so awesome. Like, I'll do this myself. How cool is that? It has to be the most alpha takeover, the most alpha conquest in the history of Westeros. Robert Baratheon's up there too, but there's something super like shonen tournament about this that's just badass. Plus, he had access to a dragon and didn't use it.
I want a movie made about this Trial of the 7.
Yes.
This could be a legit movie where you have all these, dude, Dick Bean. You can make a movie about Dick Bean himself.
You could, yes.
This whole, it's ridiculous too, because this is just the most ridiculous. If you have an issue with the history of Westeros and just people's recounting of events, and you go, oh yeah, that probably was right. Or when somebody says that Guy the Glutton was cut open in 40 undigested pies, or digested pies, I should
40.
say, come out of his stomach. 40? First off, do you even know how to count? And do you even know what a pie is? Like, how much space would it have to be in this guy's stomach?
Now, boy, you may have been to B-dubs a few times for unlimited wings, whatever. We're not even, we're barely cracking 40 wings, let alone 40 pies.
Yeah. Pies? What the hell? Yeah, so maybe they're those Walmart little handheld pies. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think they're full pies, man. I got to...
Yeah, they probably are.
Listen, screw Night of the 7 Kingdoms, House of the Dragon. I don't want to see it. I do want to see Maegor's trial of the seven on screen. How cool would that be? Make it like the King's speech.
Dude.
The whole movie, it's like 3 hours long. The whole movie is this just build up and like strategizing and tension, building up to this unbelievable third act that is the fight. Plus, dude, the warriors that were brought against him, these are like class acts, right? These guys are ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
They're nothing to scoff at. Meanwhile, he's kind of got a scrappy team. You know what I mean? They're just kind of like a band of misfits, right? And he makes it work.
Who's playing Dick Bean? Who's your casting?
Danny Trejo.
I was thinking Rob Schneider.
Yeah, close enough. Depending on the scene. 'Cause Danny Trejo's getting a little bit old, so Rob Schneider could come in for the stunts. I guess they're both getting old now. Shit.
So I really don't have an issue with the Faith getting mad at Maegor for, having multiple wives. According to the book, those are the rules, so I can see why they'd be apprehensive and frustrated with them. Totally get it. However, I'm totally against the Faith militant once Maegor wins the trial of seven, and he now has legitimacy in the eyes of the gods, the new gods, the good gods, and they still attack him. There's no excuse. There's no excuse whatsoever for the Faith militant to stand up anymore. The gods have spoken. He is now the king. By every rule we've made, this is the rules. He's shown
Again,
himself.
think about if this was Aegon the Conqueror. They would not have. I mean, they didn't. They did not have an issue with him. Okay, they did. Maybe they did behind the scenes, but they didn't voice it. And they had no incentive not to voice it, right? Like at least not compared to Maegor. So yeah, it makes no sense. It's another one of these situations where they're just hypocrites. They can't Was it like, oh, yes, that's right. I just remember the other day I was walking through the woods and I tripped on some golden tablets and the mother appeared before me and said that the family of twinks with bad dragons who can kill us whenever they want are the exception to the rules that the rest of us live by,
right.
Except for Maegor. For Maegor, it doesn't apply to that, right?
Right, yeah.
Aegon the First, that's okay. But Maegor, nope, you have to follow the rules of the common folk. Why?
Exactly. Yeah, so I have no issue when Maegor burns all of the Faith militant within King's Landing and all around there. When they bring in 40 skull, or maybe not 40, it's like thousands of skulls, to the Red Keep, where they're like, hey, these are all of the Faith militant that have been opposing you. I'm all for it at this point because he has shown in the eyes of everyone there that he is the one true king.
Maegor the Cool.
It's funny enough that Maegor is getting hit by both sides, not only the Faith, but also Big Sid, the Citadel, the Maesters.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up killing 3 Maesters in his time, and each one of them he's completely justified for. Maester Gawain, he spoke up when Maegor made his claim. Can he not read the room? Does he not know what Maegor's, maybe not love language, but the way he communicates with people? It's like, hey, you listen or you die. I think he has enough of a track record for people to go, hey, maybe even if you have an issue with them, don't say it to his face. It's probably not the best way to address Maegor.
Who's watching, I guess. I hope she sees this bro situation, right? What virtue are you signaling right now? Like this succession thing? Like, why are you so married to it in this moment? It's just a bad decision. I don't understand. It doesn't come off as noble whatsoever. I know the book wants us to think that, right, in Fire and Blood, or the Maesters want us to view it that way. Like this beautiful Maester Gawain, he was the only one who stood up to tyranny in that moment, and he got punished for it. He's like our martyr. It's like, no, he's not a martyr. He's just an idiot. It's like, at least have an argument, right? He didn't even have an argument. He just spoke up for no reason and got killed for it. Like, what do you think's going to happen, dude? This is a hostile takeover. It happens all the time.
That's not how we did it. And he goes, oh, yeah, what did we do at the time before Aenys succeeded? Well, Aegon conquered the 7 kingdoms by the right of conquerors.
Yep.
Like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that one.
Head off.
One of the other Maesters, the Grand Maesters, Myros, I think his name is. The reason why I like this death so much is because when Maegor is trying to take a new wife, he pipes up, of course, being from, Big Sid, he has to say something about the High Towers, and he's like, your true wife is in the High Tower. And whenever I read this, I just picture Maegor walking down the steps of, like, the Iron Throne all the way to where this Grand Maester is, kind of like how Dr. Evil does in Goldmember.
Yep.
And then he just slices his head off. How about no?
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that. And then the other one is the Maester who presents, I don't know if he presents, but he's actually with one of his deformed children that's delivered. One of Maegor's deformed children. And come on, dude. There's no way. All these ones are being deformed. You guys are up to no good. This reminds me of Balon. the baby in House of the Dragon, then we definitely see one of those maesters do something too. They're up to no good with these children. There's no way all of them are bad.
100%.
There's no way.
You know what? Maybe a little bit on Maegor. I don't know if he's like getting regular like the medical checkups and stuff like that. Like, because after he rocks so many boats, rightfully, he should be a little bit suspicious of these guys. So if he's like still going to see these people for medical care, I'd be going all the way over to the free cities if I was Maegor, right? Like you can't trust him anymore whatsoever. That's like a lot of real life stuff too. You gotta find your own doctor. But if that's not the case and they're just slipping things in his drinks and paying people off, which wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, 100%. But we know that there's foul play. It's undoubtedly there's foul play involved with his kids. Like, what kind of a weird mutation is that for like a guy's sperm to successfully fertilize an egg, but it always comes out mutated? I don't even think that's a thing that can be, right? I don't think that's real.
I know some of the maesters want you to believe that, whenever Maegor is investigating and potentially torturing people to get information out of them, it was coerced. But I totally believe whenever Tiana of the Tower, that comes over from Pentos with Maegor out of exile, that she actually was doing a lot of this batshit crazy shit to Maegor and his children, because she wants full control over him, and if there's any sort of other way other than her, she's going to be doing it. I totally believe that she's up to no good, and I'm glad Maegor takes care of her in the end.
If that's the case, and if there's even reason for him to suspect it, I think he's been betrayed so much, maybe he's acting a little bit hasty some of these times.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then yeah, whatever, get it done. And it's not like he only has one wife, right? I mean, he's got plenty to go around, and there's plenty more women at the Seven Kingdoms that could take that spot if this wife is really doing bad stuff to him, right? He's got to vet his women a little bit better, I think. I think he learned that probably.
And the families, like the Harways, where they, at a certain point when they're not getting a heir, the dad has a train basically ran on his daughter to ensure that she somehow gets pregnant, and which then results in their whole line being exterminated, because Maegor is like, I'm not even gonna entertain these kind of people. This is disgusting. This whole line needs to end. If he's got to prune the tree, and this one branch is totally gross, it's rotten to the core, let's just prune it. Nope, no more of you guys. And think of all of the track record Maegor's had thus far, right? He can't really trust anybody. People are working behind his back, just outright telling to his face, hey, I don't think you should be king. You're a piece of shit. In the meantime, everyone loves his older brother, who was the weakest, most pathetic man to walk the earth. Why do you think he's going to trust people after they build Maegor's holdfast? Why do you think he's going to trust these people with the plans, right? They all know the ins and outs of it. There's no way you can trust these people. You have to kill them. You're paranoid at this, but you have to be paranoid. It's totally justified that Maegor killed all these people that built all the passages into the Red Keep.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's no question about this whatsoever. If anybody's ever seen Better Call Saul, all right, when Gus Fring is working on that giant meth lab underneath the laundromat, they bring in this German construction team, right, to get somebody that's really skilled, but it's out of sight, out of mind. What happens in that? That guy, I can't remember his name, it's like Werner or something like that, Werner. What does he do? He keeps sneaking out, going to bars, just flapping his loose lips everywhere, telling everybody secrets about what he's doing. This thing is supposed to be under wraps, and he knows it's a dangerous situation. All right, he was told, like, hey, if you tell anybody about this, you're gonna die. Maegor probably didn't even tell these people that, right? So yeah. They're definitely gonna rat. They're definitely gonna squeal. You got to just nip that in the bud and take them out first. These are important things. All right. First of all, Maegor's holdfast. Amazing. Every boy's dream. Every boy wants to find a secret compartment in their house that leads to these unknown areas. Like, oh, how deep does this go? Everybody's seen Barbarian. Dude, that staircase goes all the way down. That's my wet dream right there. I wish I could find that. But Maegor made totally the right decision. Plus, for a fact he compensated the families as king, paid out the pensions, paid out their SS. They did not go wanting for the rest of their lives, even though they had the loss of their husbands.
I also think another possible situation is these people, as they're finishing, the building of this, are mentioning to Maegor the whole time, dude, I can't wait. We're going to sneak up here with the fellows. We're going to hang out. Oh, dude, it's going to be so cool. I'll know how to get up to your room and we can just hang out as bros. And Maegor at first maybe was like, oh, this might be cool. These guys are pretty chill. And then as he hangs out with them more, he's like, dude, these guys are so annoying. I cannot stand these guys. They smell. They do a weird thing. They do this weird thing with their teeth when they eat. I just hate the sight of them. And then by the end of it, he just, I don't think this is going to work out, guys. And there's no way I can erase. I can't use the Men in Black little pen cap thing to wipe your brains. So There's
Yeah,
only
they're
one
in
way.
too deep now.
Yeah.
They're in too deep. Like at that point, we've all had these moments in life where not exactly like this, but it's like you go and you do these big projects or you make so much progress you think you're making on whatever task, whatever thing you're doing, and you realize that either one person or the whole team of people that you're working with, you do have that realization moment where it's like, holy shit, everything that we've just done is now in jeopardy, either because we didn't do it correctly, like it's a school project, like this just isn't what we were supposed to be doing the whole time, and now I have like 12 hours till it's due,
Yeah.
or there's something like that, or it's just like, I can't let these guys present this project with me because they're going to totally screw it up. Like they're going to take all my hilarious lines. Like, yeah, it's not going to come off nearly as how I want it to.
Yeah.
They have to go. They have to die. I don't blame Maegor at all for this.
Last thing I can potentially think people could say, hey, this is something evil Maegor did, was killing his kinslaying. One of the worst things you can do within Game of Thrones. I think this is one of the dumbest rules, first off, that George R. R. Martin has set up. And I'm sure this is based in real life kind of voodoo magic. Like, oh, you should kill your kid because it actually curses you and makes your balls shrink and your wiener have a big tip. I hate kinslaying as a rule and that it's a bad thing. At what point does it become self-defense? You know, if we both don't want each other alive and he attacks me and I kill him as a response, does that become self-defense? You know, this kind of reminds me of Jaime with the king slaying. Was he supposed to just stand there and just be like, well, that's what the king wants and we're all just going to die, you know?
You take the words right out of my mouth, man. Aegon the Uncrowned leads a violent uprising against you, and you get condemned for, like, quashing that uprising. Like, again, he won the crown in a legitimate holy ceremony. Okay, it was violent, but it was also holy. He won that crown. The realm is his. And when somebody leads a violent uprising against him, just because it's a family member, that makes him a kinslayer, like a condemnable kingslayer, a lowly, pathetic, sniveling kingslayer. That is, I completely disagree with that train of logic. Like, what the fuck was he supposed to do? Is that how it works with everybody? It's like, is it just a game of who can conquer who last? It's like this person gets free pass, then this person, and then the last one, like, gets the throne.
Yeah.
Everybody else was too scared to act on, you know, the following conqueror because they didn't want to be labeled a kingslayer. Is the last person, like if Aegon the Uncrowned successfully took out Maegor, would he be known as a kingslayer? I would hope so.
I feel like this is like a bullshit thing someone developed, a rule that like I'm Aegon. Imagine if I'm Aegon the Uncrowned, Gator, and Gator, you're my hand, kind of my trusted advisor. And me and your brother sitting here, and I'm like, okay, we got to take out Maegor. Like, okay, well, Aegon, you definitely need to go up there. You've got to take him out. Then you'd be looked at as the conquering hero. And then the person goes, oh, no. Me as Aegon, right? Oh, no. I think there's a rule against that. Like, what? A rule? Yeah, you can't kill your kin. That's like one of the most evil things you can do, and you'll be cursed for life. You got to do it instead. He's like, well, I'm hardly trained. He's like, well, dude, I don't want to be cursed for life. I feel like that's the excuse someone would make, or the bullshit story that kind of got developed. Because otherwise, what sense does it make? It's not saying you're killing, like murdering them, and if you have malice in your heart when you kill them, you are cursed. No, it's anytime you kill them. So, like, what, by accident? I think people have said that Victarion might be a kinslayer because he beat his wife that might have had the son or the child of his brother in the womb because he was basically cuckolded by Euron, right, with his wife, and he beat his wife to death. Might have been kinslaying because he killed the baby in there too. Is that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous? Like, how is that? How is he put his kinslaying if he had no malice in his heart to kill his kin, but somehow, as a result, did do so?
Completely, yeah. It should be completely intent-based. It should be completely intent-based. And I just know they're trying to get Maegor on, like, every little thing. This whole Aegon the Uncrowned bullshit. Well, first of all, Victarion, anything he does is fine in my book. I'm sure he had a good reason, all right? He's a simple man with simple pleasures. I don't doubt his integrity whatsoever. But I just know if Aegon the Uncrowned went in there, successfully overthrew Maegor and killed him, it'd be one of those situations where it's like, well, sure, he's a kinslayer, but also a kingslayer, so double negative, he's good to go.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and smash that like button.
Or not, we don't care.